academic based, anything from a management standpoint, I can send out as an email. Y'all know that we are the strategic waiver school system. You know that E-Square, where a few years ago you could be chartered, strategic waiver, E-Square, or you could be status quo. That happened a few years ago. Well, our district chose E-Square, and how they evaluate the schools is you have to have a 3% increase in your milestone or CCRPI scores, and you have to beat the odds. Beating the odds is schools like ours. Did you beat the odds? If you didn't get the 3% increase, did you beat the odds? Well, with us, when we were evaluated last year, we did not. So we had to come up with a school improvement plan, and I want to share that with you. And as you see, it had to be submitted, it had to be, the first version had to be submitted by June 1st, and then if we need to make any adjustments, we have till September the 15th to make adjustments. So this is the plan that we came up with, which was approved by Dr. Hinton, and the plan is we have to talk about specific achievement deficiencies and what are we going to target. Low percentage rates of student passing lit, ninth grade lit, American lit, biology, physical science, U.S. history, economics, algebra 1, and geometry. Low numbers of students scoring the range of proficiency and advance on the reading inventory, and low number of students with disability who score in the range of proficient advance on the reading inventory. All right, so here are the improvement targets, which are some of the same things we've been targeting for a while. All right, we aim to increase 5% across the board on the milestone assessments in the area of lit, American lit, biology, physical science, history, economics, algebra 1, and geometry. At least 50% of all students score proficient and advanced in the reading inventory. And we want 50% of our students with disabilities score at proficient or advanced on the reading inventory. Now, as you look at this, we have till September the 15th to adjust these numbers. So as leaders of your department, I'm going to send this to you. You look over with your department and you give me some feedback, and I'll send it up to the district for revisions or for approval. We had to meet with the lady. We had to do a conference call with the lady from GOSA. And like I said, this was the initial plan that was submitted, and they've approved it. But again, we have till the 15th to make adjustments. What do we have in place to address our deficiencies? We talked about the Reading 180 program for students that have low Lexiles, and this year we did make sure that we had our students with disabilities in the Read 180 program. Of course, we're still doing striving readers, and we're going to refresh your memory on the different reading strategies for other students that that read below grade level and Lexile levels are low. And we also are doing formative assessments daily as a part of our closing in order to monitor student mastery of standards addressed taught for that day. So, and we reiterate, reteach, and formatively assess the standard again if needed. So this is the why right here. You know, if you ever wonder why we do things and why we have to do things and why are we doing this and why are we doing that, this is the why. Okay, this is why we have to do it, because we're monitored. And when we have our E-square and whatever thing that we choose in this one, this is the why. Okay, how do we monitor the progress of these deficiencies? And as you see, it said, how will the district monitor this towards improving these efficiencies? All right, the progress of academics will be monitored by having data collected, recorded into the district data sheet per every 9-week period. That's the all-in learning. Okay, that's the best way to do it. And they're going to be looking at it as a 9-week period. Classroom walkthroughs, observations will be performed and discussed with the teachers in order to allow for teachers and student growth. Formative assessment data will be used in order to monitor the students' mastery of the content being taught, as well as the effectiveness of instructional techniques being used. We do our collaborative planning. Will take place weekly in order to perform a data analysis of weekly standards and shared strategic goals and instructional strategies to be used for differentiated purposes. How do we know differentiation is going on? How do we know differentiation is going on? Because of what? Hawk time. Okay? So when we pop into Hawk time on Hawk time Mondays, and that's the day to prove that we're doing differentiation, all right, throughout the school. So when we pop in Hawk time, we know that's the differentiation, and we get our differentiation, and we build our Hawk time from what day? Formative assessment data is on what day? And we do our debriefings on Thursday. So we get our debriefing data on Thursday, and based on that data, we build our, that data, and you know, some of y'all do quizzes, some of y'all do summative assessments, but that's where you get your data to set up your Hawk time. So if the district pops in, or Dr. Hinton pops in, or I pop in, and we start talking about Hawk time, and we start talking about, okay, what are these students doing, and what data that you set your Hawk time up, we have to be able to produce that, because it's part of our strategic plan from the state. Okay, so this was signed by Dr. Hinton, and it was submitted. I'm gonna send this to you all. If you look at something as far as the percentages and things, please give me some feedback so I can get some feedback back to the district so that we can resubmit if we need to. But this is the why. This is the why that we do these things. This is the why that we formally assess, because we have to either beat the odds or have that 3% increase. Okay. Any questions? Any questions on the and that's what we are. We're a strategic waiver school system. All right, which is SWISH is for short, but that's the system that the district chose to go in, as opposed to charter and as opposed to status quo. Any questions on that?
Dr. Gray, does each milestone have to beat by 5% or a collective 5%?
Now, on this, and I think it's a collective, and I'll give clarification, but I'm almost sure with this, they put them all together. Like they'll do biology, physical science, and they'll put them together. And then your maths, they'll put them together. And it's a collective 5%. I know it's not individual.
Okay.
But I'll make sure, I'm almost sure you're right, it's a collective 5%. So they put them all together, like US history, econ, they'll go together, and your sciences will go together. And then it's a collective 5%. Now, how do the rest of us contribute to this? Is by, you know, our reading strategies and our literacy across the, system, and all of that stuff still apply. So that's how you others contribute to the success of this, strategic waiver. All right. Let me look at. All right, right quick, we're going to look at our comparisons of our data. 1, 2, 3, this is the last 5 years. This is last year and this is this year. S is for state, R is for RESA, and L is us. Okay, so you got state, you got our RESA area, and then you have us. So in 9th grade lit, the state was 53 to 52, 39 to 37, and we went from 33 to 43. Okay? That's in 9th grade literature. In American lit, and you can see over a 5-year period, 31, 24, 33, 43. So at least we're headed in the right direction. American lit, 23, 25, 27, and 30. Okay, now, our RESA, as you can see, was 28. So we beat our local RESA, and we increased from one year to the next. Over here, we beat our local RESA. This is our objective. This is where we're aiming for, but our RESA area, and then as you can see, locally 43%. So we just got to keep working. All right, algebra. Algebra 1, we were 15, 17, 15, then we jumped to 29. That's over the last 5 years. And these are proficient numbers. These are proficient of students that passed, okay? In this number are our Algebra 1 students at the middle school, I believe. Okay, so, and as you can see, we beat RESA. We're still below the state. All right, but this is over the last 5 years. All right, geometry, 19, 31, 24, and 18. So you see we took a little bit of a dip. We're even below our RESA area in geometry. That's the state average. And these are proficient pass. Okay, so that's geometry. If you got any questions, just stop me. If you have any questions. Physical science and biology, 17, 15, 52, and 75. Physical science, we beat the state average, we beat RESA, we beat the state average, we beat RESA here, and that's over the last 5 years. Biology, 21, 26, 22, and then 38. So we beat RESA there, still a little bit below the state, but it's a steady increase, and that's what you want to see. And then here's last year, and here's this year, if you just want to compare 2 years. But that's over the last, 1, 2, 3, 4 years, not 5 years. 4 years. And then U.S. history and econ, 28, 35, 28, and then 23. We did beat RESA last year and this year. Behind in the state, as you can see, it's going in the wrong direction. 28, it peaked, it went down, and it went down. Those are proficient. Then econ, 12, 21 local, 26, and 26. So it stayed the same. We did beat the RESA, did not beat the state. Didn't beat RESA last year. RESA went down, so we just didn't make an improvement, it stayed the same. Any question over the data? And those are proficient. And I'll go over this when we have our faculty meeting as well. Okay. So any question on the data?
Do all the 8th graders take physical science?
No. What we do with physical science is they used to take it. But what we do with physical science, science is the only, that 9th grade physical science, they can either take environmental science or physical science. So what happens, science is the only content area that they have to have physical science or physics to graduate. So what we can do is we can look at our students that we want to take physical science, and the ones that take environmental science, as long as they take physics as seniors, then they meet the state requirement.
Do all 10th graders take geometry, is that still 10th?
That's correct.
All-
Everything else, all 9th graders take, all 10th graders take, U.S. history, all 11th graders take, and stuff like that, Coach.
I got a question about the dual enrollment,
Okay?
because looking at the data, and I know from about 2 years ago is when we really started losing kids to dual enrollment.
That's right.
And even this year, I know I go down there and get the attendance every morning, we've got probably 15 in the U.S. history dual enrollment class.
That's right.
What's our plan for them and taking the milestone?
Well, what happens, dual enrollment, if they pass, we get credit.
It counts towards the milestone.
Right, it counts towards the milestone data, because that's a great question. Because basically, you know, our dual enrollment kids are our higher functioning students. But we do get credit for our dual enrollment kids. They pass that
Are they
class.
credited in those numbers or just on CCRPI?
That's a good, I'll find out. Do y'all know?
Because those are the numbers kind of that we got without the dual enrollment.
Exactly.
Obviously,
But you're right, and I'll check, I won't tell you wrong. I'll check and make sure, how do they
It's
feed
more and
into
more
our,
on, you know, I can tell more and more when we're,
oh, we doubled.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's our CCI? We had 103 total last year, we got 100
Now,
we got 100, how many?
we've got over 100 now.
We got over 100, we had 103 total
Here.
last year. Now we got over 100 just this first go-round. So y'all know this dual enrollment is blowing up. But what have I been saying all along about our other students? All along, that has been the group that we have to reach. Because even with our dual enrollment kids, even if they were factored into these numbers, it's not enough of them to carry us. The majority of our students are our students, you know, that need scaffolding and formative assessing and stuff like that because of our demographic. You know, you go out to Alpharetta or wherever they have enough of those students to carry their milestone. We're flipped the opposite. You know, they have enough kids with their milestone scores, you know, based on, and then their red kids or there's kids that, you know, fit into those other categories are slim. Where with us, that's the majority of our students. So that's why we had to have all these things in place to try to reach those students. Because, Jay, as you just said, we're losing all those milestone kids and you know, those, now our AP kids still take it, but all of those students, we're losing. And I need to find out, if they don't factor into here, how do we get credit for it? Probably on the CCRPI overall, you know what I'm saying, on the CCRPI overall score. Because there's a place where you have students in dual enrollment where you get points for. But you're correct, and as far as the milestone is concerned, these are the other kids that we've been talking about for a while. And the reason why we put all these things in place. Okay? So that's a good point. All right, any other questions? Okay. Again, I'll send you the strategic waiver if you need to make any suggested changes, you know, send it to me and I'll send it to the district and see if they